the International Atomic Energy Agency has warned that Iran is dangerously close to developing an atomic weapon. The statement comes just hours before IAEA chief Rafael Grossi departs for Tehran, where he is expected to hold urgent talks with Iranian government officials regarding the country's secretive nuclear program. Grossi told Le Monde that Iran is not too far from having an atomic bomb, comparing the development of a nuclear weapon to assembling a jigsaw puzzle. He said, "Iran has all the pieces now and could well put them together eventually." The IAEA, an autonomous agency under the United Nations, is currently responsible for monitoring Iran's adherence to the 2015 nuclear agreement, also known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The deal effectively collapsed after former US President Donald Trump unilaterally withdrew in 2018, calling it a bad deal. Grossi's visit to Tehran is expected to center on recent developments in Iran's nuclear activities, particularly enrichment levels and suspected military dimensions of the program. Commenting on Iran's nuclear ambitions, Donald Trump reiterated his administration's firm stance earlier this week. Speaking at a campaign event, he said, "Iran has to get rid of the concept of a nuclear weapon. These are radicalized people, and they cannot have a nuclear weapon." Trump's remarks came just days after the first round of diplomatic talks between the United States and Iran, held in Oman last weekend. The talks marked the first such direct engagement since the breakdown of the 2015 agreement.
The only thing is, one thing, simple. It's really simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon. And they got to go fast, because they're fairly close to having one, and they're not going to have one. And if we have to do something very harsh, we'll do it. And I'm not doing it for us, I'm doing it for the world. And these are radicalized people, and they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Does that include a potential strike on Iranian nuclear facilities?
Of course it does.
Following the initial round of negotiations, US Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff described the discussions as positive, constructive, and compelling. In a rare moment of alignment, Iran's supreme leader also remarked that the talks were going well. However, shortly after the talks concluded, Iran dispatched a high-level delegation led by its foreign minister to Moscow in what observers believe was a strategic consultation with Russia. The second round of talks is tentatively scheduled to take place in Rome, though Iran has expressed preference for Oman to remain the host country.
So we are telling you right now that Iran will not have nuclear weapons. America's security partnership with Israel is stronger than ever. Under my administration, you see the difference. Big, big, beautiful difference.
According to Witkoff, a major focus of the talks is verification of Iran's enrichment program and its potential move towards weaponization. He explained that Iran currently enriches uranium to as high as 60%, only a short technical step away from the weapons-grade threshold of 90%. Witkoff told Fox News, "They do not need to enrich past 3.67% for any civilian purpose." He added that the United States has, for the first time, proposed a specific enrichment cap, emphasizing that any future agreement must address both enrichment levels and missile capabilities. Under President Barack Obama, the 2015 nuclear deal required Iran to limit uranium enrichment to 3.67% and reduce its overall stockpile. in exchange for the lifting of sanctions and unfreezing of billions in overseas assets. Trump, however, argued that the original agreement ignored Iran's ballistic missile stockpile and failed to address its regional military activities. Witkoff echoed this position, stating, "Any deal with Iran would have to include missiles and the trigger for a bomb." In a post on Platform X following the first round of negotiations, Witkoff wrote, "A deal with Iran will only be completed if it is a Trump deal."